These fighting mighty midgets packed big guns. The Asiatic-Pacific theater in World War II culminated with a grueling, bloody amphibious campaign to capture one Japanese-held sea-bound stronghold after another. To deliver soldiers to the various beachheads along the sea route to Japan, the U.S. Navy relied largely on LCVPs, landing craft vehicle personnel, or Higgins boats, each capable of transporting up to 36 GIs, little more than 36-foot barge-like shells made largely of plywood. LCVPs left their human cargoes vulnerable to intensive enemy fire, both en route to and on, lowering their ramps onto the beaches. The Higgins boats did, however, have guardian angels, powerful amphibious support ships, popularly known as the mighty midgets. In 1943, recognizing the need for a large, close-in fire support vessel that was not simply a modified troop carrier, the Navy contracted the George Lawley and Son Shipyard of Neponset, Massachusetts, to design the first of its kind. Between May 1944 and March 1945, Lawley and Son and both the Commercial Iron Works and the Albina Engine and Machine Works of Portland, Oregon, built 130 such vessels for service in the Pacific. Each ship was given a number rather than a name. Their official designation was Landing Craft Support, Large, Mark III, commonly shortened to LCS or simply LCS, but on proving themselves in action, the vessels became known collectively throughout the Navy as the Mighty Midgets. With its 158-foot 6-inch length, 23-foot 3-inch beam, and a flat bottom that allowed for a shallow draft of less than 6 feet, the LCS was ideally designed for inshore fire support. By contrast, destroyers of the era, at more than twice the length with a 9 to 19-foot draft, were unable to achieve the proximity required for the sort of close-in precision fire capable from an LCS. With a maximum speed of scarcely 16 knots, the LCS was not fast. One chronicler describes it as sluggish, but it was both powerful and versatile. Designed for the dual purpose of supporting amphibious landings and intercepting inter-Iceland barge traffic, the Mighty Midget was not built for looks. "The ship in itself is nothing," recalled Lieutenant Junior Grade Powell Pierpoint, the executive officer of LCS 61. "She is unlovely to look upon and has neither grace nor speed. She has not even the dignity of a name." In his next breath, Pierpoint sang her praises. Her history comes from the men who are in her and the job they did with her. Theirs was to be a fighting ship, with guns and rockets. No bow doors, no ramps, no cargo holds. Just guns and rockets, a small galley and 71 men and officers. Lofty, beside the squat LCIs and lopsided LSMs, she simply bristled with guns. In fact, the LCS was the consummate gunboat, carrying more firepower per ton than even the Navy's largest battleships. Recalled Lieutenant John Harper, the skipper of LCS 52, like her sisters, she was pound for pound, arguably, the most heavily armed gunship on the water. At the bow was mounted, depending on the vessel, either a Mark 22 3-inch/50 caliber gun, or a single or twin Bofors 40mm L/60 anti-aircraft gun. Another twin Bofors was mounted forward in the number 2 position. Amidships on the superstructure deck were 2 Oerlikon L/70 20mm rapid-firing anti-aircraft guns with gyro sights, one to port and the other to starboard. Aft on the main deck, port and starboard, were 2 more 20mm guns. Each of the 4 was capable of firing 450 rounds per minute. Astern was another twin Bofors, each barrel able to fire up to 140 rounds per minute. Available when necessary were 4 removable .50 caliber machine guns which could be mounted 2 to a side. Steel splinter shields ringed the gun mounts, pilot house, and conning tower. Finally, athwartships between the forward twin Bofors and the bow gun were 10 Mark 7 rocket launchers, welded to the deck in 2 groups of 5 at a fixed 45-degree angle. All told, they cradled 120 barrage rockets, a dozen per launcher. The launchers could be fired either individually for ranging purposes or in a single devastating salvo. Each 4.5-inch rocket delivered a payload equivalent to a 105mm shell, or a 20-pound bomb. Understandably, after listing its firing capacity, a wartime Navy training film dubbed the LCS a pint-sized floating gun platform. During an amphibious landing operation, an LCS would generally precede the first assault wave, making 3 runs in line with its sister gunships to strategically unleash cannon fire and rocket barrages against the beach at various prescribed distances. After firing its 3rd salvo, the LCS would turn broadside to the shore in column formation with its sister ships and open up with all available guns on such targets of opportunity as enemy troops, pillboxes, and gun emplacements. On this 3rd run, it would accompany the landing craft, remaining inshore to provide fire support as troops hit the beach.